All right. Thanks everybody for joining us today. I'm Justine Mahoney, account executive with Vanguard Inc., and we are glad you are here. So today we're going to go over the top 3 ways contractors can win in 2025. Now, I just want everybody to know that we are going to go through everything here at a high level today, though we will have subsequent LinkedIn Lives where we'll go through each topic at a much deeper level. So before we get started, I do want to know, if you're looking to grow your company in 2025 and beyond, please type win in the comments. Just want to know who you are. And by the way, if you were interested after this in learning more about Vanguard Inc. and what we do, please head to our website at vanguardinc.com. And if you'd like to schedule a consultation, you can hit the orange Talk to Us button, and we look forward to connecting with you. So today we're going to go over eliminating waste in operations with AI and automations. And then we're going to go over controlling costs and predictable overhead. And last, but certainly not least, we will talk about bad software implementations. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Reed Bankert, our COO, who's going to talk about eliminating waste in operations with AI and automation. Reed?
Hey, thanks, Justine. So my proposition is simple. Either you're on the AI train or you're not. If your company isn't adopting AI in 2025, I'm going to ask you, when do you plan to shut down? That's a serious question. I've been developing AI tools here at Vanguard for the past 18 months or so. And I can tell you, I wake up every single day and I feel like we are behind. So now granted, we're in the technology space, but it does feel like the advancement and the rapid development of AI tools is super strong. No time in technological history have we ever seen this amount of development in this short of a time frame. So even with our lead today, I still feel that pressure to deliver time and time again on our AI tools and to continue to innovate. The key question is are you on the AI train? If you are, put AI train down in the comments. I'd like to hear from you, and we can connect after the live. But here are my takeaways. So the first thing you have to do is just assess your current tech stack. If you're using things like on-premise software that was developed in the 90s, maybe software that doesn't quite work for your business, you need to eliminate those and make a plan to upgrade them in the near future. I'm talking probably in the next year or two. The second thing is I dove headfirst into AI. I'm self-taught. I didn't get a degree in this. I didn't get a degree in computer science. I am self-taught. What I have learned is from YouTube, LinkedIn newsletters, podcasts, MIT courses, those types of things. So spend an hour a day, if you can, learning about AI, what it does, what is generative AI, what are AI agents, what is multimodal AI. All of these things really matter to your business moving forward. And the third thing is identify just one process that you can automate or improve by incorporating AI into it today. So it doesn't have to be today, it can be 2 weeks from now once you've had a foundational, learning or exercise over it, but pick one process that you can improve. Now, I'll link to the MIT 8-week course on Gen AI. It's super powerful. It's the course that I took. It's kind of what launched all of the tools that we've built in the past 18 months, and it'll be very beneficial to you.
Thanks, Reed. So I can tell you that based on what Reed has done at our company, we as a whole dove into AI firsthand last year with the development of our AI tool proprietary to us called Ask Richard. Now, Richard is the name of my late grandfather and also the founder of our company, Vanguard Inc. And we were asked to help to train Richard, to help it learn about Sage Intacct Construction, about the software that we sell, about the customers and so forth, the information that they need. So it's a tool that we as a company have really felt a part of. We felt included, and we've really had a lot of fun developing this tool in the company. So next, I'm going to kick it off to Kurt Bankert. He is our president and CEO, and he is going to talk about controlling cost and predictable overhead. Kurt.
Yeah, thanks, Justine. A couple quick comments on AI before I get started. One is it is a way for you to gain predictable cost and so forth, number one. But number two is, I've been in technology for over 42 years now. And it, without question, it will change things more, I think, than almost anything else in my experience. And it's worth you paying attention to. And Reed's link there will give you a good start. So it's worth spending some time on. We will continue further content on that. And so I think you want to keep your eye on what we're doing because we're going to be putting out some actual usable tools that you can put into play. As far as controlling your overhead, gaining predictable cost, you might expect that I'm going to talk about some kind of technical financial methodologies or something like that, and I'm not. What I'm going to tell you in my experience over all this time being in business is that your best control over your cost and your overhead is through culture. And that may seem counterintuitive, but let me tell you why I say that. Finding good people, as we all know, it's difficult. It's also expensive. And if you have people on your team that enjoy coming to work, they enjoy working as a team, they enjoy moving your company forward, they like all of that, and they stay with you, that's your best long-term cost-saving tool by far. And I know that's where we come from. So in my job here, as CEO, my opinion is to protect our culture at nearly all costs. So there's things that we do that have really brought our entire company together as a team. And we got there through crisis. We got to a point about 3 years ago where I asked people, is anyone having any fun? The answer was a resounding no. And I've never been in business to, crack the whip, if you will, make people do what they really rather not do, or make them do it in an environment that they don't enjoy. That's not what I'm about as a person, and it's not what we've been about as a company. So we made some drastic changes. And right off the bat, they were expensive, frankly. And I'm not talking about putting an air hockey table in the break room or that kind of superficial stuff. I mean, real change. We changed our comp structures. We changed fundamentally how we do business. We've talked about AI and some other things, and some of the things that Nick will talk about are actual fundamental changes in how we did business, because we looked at how we were doing business and we realized that method, that business model that we were in back then, was actually the root of all of our culture issues, with high turnover, expensive recruiting cost, very spotty success with new employees, all of those kinds of things, where it was just a constant treadmill of bringing new people in, crossing your fingers, hoping they fit in and they do the job they're supposed to do. So what we did was we really said, this has to change. Number one, we want everyone that's here to enjoy coming to work, be fulfilled as one part of their life. And again, one part of their life. We want them to have a full life. Work is a part of it. They should enjoy what they do. They should also feel like they can enjoy their time off. So we, instead of working 50, 60 hours a week, no more than 40. In fact, we're at a point now where half the year we go to a 40 work week. So everything we did was about building our culture. And the result of that has been this: zero turnover in that 3-year time. After we've gotten through our metamorphosis, if you will, no turnover. You can visually see everyone working as a team. We get together as a group and everybody truly and genuinely enjoys one another. There's great conversation. We have a lot of joking and fun, yet productivity has gone through the roof. Better yet, the creativity of this team has just absolutely stunned me. They've been able to achieve things that I never expected when we started this journey. That has absolutely impacted our overhead costs. It's impacted our productivity. It's just the key core thing. And while I know I can tell you, hey, make your culture better, that may or may not be helpful to you, but you start looking at it. In your company, I don't have specific advice, but as we go with further lives like this, we will definitely talk about here's some things you can do to improve your culture and things you need to think about. In our case, one of those elements was we want to be the most innovative, forward-thinking construction financial management software provider in the country. That was one of our number one things. And we've become that. And everyone on this team has made that happen. And they all enjoy it, they love it, and so forth. So, number one, look at your culture. That's your best way to cost savings. Cost control, reduction of overhead, all that is absolutely one of the best things you can do. Because if you can retain great people, you're not recruiting, your payroll staff is not constantly adding and subtracting people, all those things that go on. You don't have severances, you don't have potential lawsuits, you don't have all kinds of things. Reduces your risk tremendously. Culture. That's my main job here.
Yeah. I mean, you can buy whatever system you want. You can implement whatever system you want. If you don't have the right people in the right seats, it will not work. Culture ensures that you've got those right people and they're engaged and they're aligned with your goals and your vision of your company. Once we got on that pathway, this company exploded, absolutely exploded.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and as an employee firsthand, I can say I was leery about the 4-day work week, but I can get so much more done than I ever thought possible in 4 days. And then the biggest benefit is that extra day every single week, I get to do more things that I need to get done at home and spend a lot more valuable time with my young family. So it's been great.
I'll add a comment to that. So I personally was exceptionally skeptical about a 4-day work week. I mean,
It's true.
I grew up in a family that put a high value on hard work and a lot of it. And so when somebody talks about 4-day work weeks, I'm a little bit skeptical, to say the least. But what we did is we allowed our team to define the terms of that. And frankly, they came back with a proposal that was more conservative than I would have put in front of them. And then they adhered to it. And they made sure that all their team members adhered to it. And frankly, one of the best things we've done. I am an absolute advocate of thinking outside the box when it comes to how you build culture.
Thanks, Kurt. So now, last but not least, we're going to go over bad software implementations. So I'm going to hand it over to Nick Blair. He's another account executive on our team. So Nick, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Justine. Software implementations suck. Oftentimes, they go over budget, they go over time, and they're not even a guaranteed success, right? 3 years ago, we took 9 months off from selling software. A software company that didn't sell for 9 months to devote all of our resources into changing culture, like Kurt talked about, but into changing our process, developing a process that would get folks from 0 to live on Sage Intacct every single time. We were able to leverage our 40 years of experience doing implementations to make that happen. Let me share with you our scorecard from the last 2 years and roughly 100 implementations. We have reduced cost to implement by 70%. The time to go live has been decreased by 50%, half the time to live. And our success rate is 98%. If you heard what I just said, put a 98 in the chat Software implementations suck, but they just don't have to. They do not have to, and we have proven that with our new proven process to deploy Sage Intacct. It hinges on two ideas, and there's more than these two, and we'll talk more about them in future live events. But one of the pieces that's really important to know is that we realize that our customers that know the most about their software are the ones that are happiest. And so we focus on knowledge autonomy in our process. And I want Reed to share a little bit about what knowledge autonomy is.
Yeah. Well, when I came into the company, I didn't surprisingly have the luxury of hiring consultants and hiring outside resources to help enable our tech implementations. Number one, we're a tech implementation company ourselves, but number two, is just more efficient to do it on my own. And so that whole process led us to this idea of knowledge autonomy. And the reality is if you loan your knowledge out by hiring consultants, by allowing them to configure your systems and set up your infrastructure, you're effectively loaning out your knowledge to that group of folks, and you're not keeping it internally. And I can tell you, to watch an organization go from what once was, which was, hey, we're relying on consultants for support, we're relying on other people to even run our payroll. We're relying on other people to run reports and do really deep dive financial analytics. When they transition to owning that knowledge themselves, boy, the growth metric is huge. So knowledge autonomy, keeping the knowledge of your systems, your processes internally, will help your company just grow. And it also, back to Kurt's point, will help your culture too.
Thanks, Reed. Yeah. The second piece is, in the old way of doing things, there was this fundamental misalignment of interest that happened with an hourly billing method of billing customers. And we changed that. And Kurt, I want you to share a little bit about that if you're willing.
Yeah, of course. Inherently, the typical sales process and so forth for software is you do a bunch of demos, you select the product you like best, and then you get your pricing, which normally includes software and a service amount. And the service amount is what it's going to take to get the consultants to work with you to get it live. Typically, those are quoted in terms of hours. So they take a look at it using their best knowledge. They take a guesstimate. So they say maybe it's 150 or 200 hours, let's say. Problem is, those estimates are rarely accurate. It's very common to get change orders, additional statements of work, and so on down the line. Just absolutely common. And the reason for that is they really don't know enough. As a software vendor, I don't know enough to give you an absolute accurate estimate of time. And because we're doing it by the hour, there's an inherent conflict. Okay, it's in my interest to charge you more hours. It's in your interest to pay fewer hours. Worse than that, the deck is stacked even further because typical consultants are the large part of their compensation comes from how many hours they bill. So the consultant has an incentive to bill by the hour. I'm not saying there's anything underhanded about it. I'm just saying that there's an inherent conflict of interest that does influence the course of your implementation, if that's the methodology used. We recognize that creates two things. It's one, unhappy staff, and two, unhappy customers, more often than it should. And I contend that if you have an unhappy staff, you cannot have happy customers. So our objective here was to build in a proven process. We know it exists, and we've proven it now many, many times, over 100 times. Proven process that every customer goes through. And it turns out an exceptional result a high percentage of the time. And we offer that at a specific known price upfront and guarantee there will be no change orders, no additional statements of work. You know exactly what you're going to pay from day one. On top of that, our team, I talked about our team. Our team came to me and said, hey, we can build into our coursework CPE credits. So if you're a certified professional accountant, You can get CPA credits by implementing your software with Banger. So we're trying to innovate, provide value, build value in everything we do here. And that's a big part of it.
Thanks, Kurt. So software implementations don't have to suck, right? But you're probably wondering, how can you tell at the beginning of a process whether or not you're working with a company that's going to be good to work with? Because really the thing that makes it a good experience or a bad experience is who you're working with. Well, here's a few ideas that I have. The first one is, if the company you're working with says they have a proven process, ask for their data. Ask for the scorecard that backs that up. I already gave you ours. 70% less cost, half the time to live, 98% success rate. We can show you that data. That's the experience that we've had. The second is, I don't even buy a phone charger these days without reading reviews. I read reviews for every single thing that I buy. I would never spend tens of thousands of dollars on software having not read a review. So does the company you're going to work with have verified reviews? You can check out our Trustpilot. Do they put content out to support their customers for free on a platform like YouTube? Are they invested in the success of their customers to the extent that they are willing to stand firm on their product and their services so much that they'll say, hey, we'll show you how to do this for free? Number 4, do they have customer testimonials? Are you hearing from a salesperson that it's a great company to work with? Are you hearing from their customers that it's a great company to work with? Check out our testimonials on YouTube. We have a ton of them. And finally, this is probably the most obvious, but it's worth saying. What's your gut say about the company you're going to work with? Do you get the sense that they're trustworthy? Do you get the sense that they're going to walk with you through the process? Do you get the sense that they're going to stick with you even when things get tough? Not to make it too mushy, but it is important to make sure that you trust the people that you're going to work with. That's all I got, Justine.
Thanks, Nick. Now, as a salesperson who has sold software and implementations on the old hourly billing model and has also sold them using the Bangert proven process, the Bangert way, our Bangert deployment system, I can tell you our customers are incredibly happier. And my job is also much more fun because I get to do cool things. Like last week, Reed and I visited a customer on site and we filmed a case study video with him. And before we wrap things up today, I want to share a quote from him because it's absolutely incredible. And we would not have gotten this kind of feedback when we were doing the old hourly billing model, which we did for 40 years of us being in business. So this is from Matt McLean. He's the CFO at Standard Roofing in Oklahoma City. He said, I can't believe I get to work with a company as great as Bangert. I can't believe I get to access you guys live every single day. It is unreal. And that quote is unreal because seriously, we've never gotten feedback like that before until we change the way that we do business. And that is absolutely what we're after at Bangert. We want 100% happy customers.
Yeah, my mind was blown.
It was, yeah. So lastly, I want to say a couple last things. Again, if you're just joining us, if you want to know more about how we do things at Bangert or possibly schedule a consultation with us, visit our website at bangertinc.com. For the consultation, you'll just hit the orange button that says talk to us. We'll look forward to connecting, certainly. We will also post a replay of this on LinkedIn and in newsletters. And do look out for more LinkedIn Lives because we will have more of these that will, again, go through each of these topics we discussed today much more deeply. So again, thanks everybody for your time. We appreciate it. And have a great rest of your day.